This is the Aura Allure. This is the gun. This is the motor unit or motor turbine. And this is the hose. First, we're going to look at the gun. This is the nozzle. This is the solution cup. This is the flow dial. And this is where you connect your hose. Let's begin with looking at the nozzle. For thorough cleaning, remove the 3-part nozzle. Begin by taking off the air cap ring or union nut. Then remove the air cap and then the nozzle. You'll notice inside this nozzle there's a little red seal, or some people call it the red rubber band. This part comes out and sits around the needle at the back here. This part is very important as it will prevent potential leaking from the nozzle of the gun. You get a spare one of these with every gun. This little red seal comes inside this little spares pack. Please do not throw it away. Now let's put it back together. First, start by putting the red seal over the needle. Make sure the groove is facing forwards. Place it over the needle and push right back. Then put on the nozzle. You'll see here there's 4 little grooves within the nozzle. These fit over the notches within the gun channel. If you pull the trigger back, it pulls the needle back. Make sure you're holding the trigger back when putting these 3 parts on. Begin by fitting the nozzle over the grooves. You'll see it pushes right back when the trigger is pulled back. If the trigger is not pulled back, there is a gap around. This, again, could potentially cause problems at the front of the gun. So please make sure you pull the trigger back. Then place the air cap over the nozzle. And finally, the air cap ring screws onto the gun. Make sure this is threaded correctly, as again, if it's not done properly, you may have problems. Tighten it up and then loosen just a little. If the air cap ring is very, very tight, it will restrict movement of the needle and you'll have less solution coming out the front of the gun. If it's very, very loose, you may have leaking from the front of the gun. So ensure it's just in the correct place. Now let's look at the solution cup. You'll want to remove this and obviously pour away the solution for cleaning. Rinse under a tap and make sure it's cleaned thoroughly. Make sure you dry the threading around the cup and also wash and dry the threading around the inside of the gun. This is very important because when you reattach the cup, you want it to thread correctly. Any misthreading could cause leakage. Remove the pickup tube and seal from the gun. This can be cleaned under the tap and again dried. Make sure you dry this area of the gun because if water gets caught underneath the seal, you might have problems attaching the cup. And again, there could be issues with leaking if this is not threaded correctly. You get a spare pickup tube and seal in your spares pack. Please, again, do not throw these away. They're very important. Now putting it back together, pickup tube and seal goes into the top of the gun here. Press the seal firmly down all the way around. You'll notice your pickup tube has little teeth at the end here. This is so all the solution is fed up into the gun, and the cup is slightly concave in the base so that no solution is wasted. Now, reattaching the cup, make sure it threads correctly. This is best done on a flat surface. All the way up, nice and tight. You'll notice here the gap, well, there is no gap, is very even. If the cup is misthreaded, this will not be even and it will cause leaking. You have here the measurements to tell you how much solution to put within the gun. When filling the solution cup, do not overfill. If you overfill the cup and do not thread it onto the gun properly, you will see bubbling from the top of the cup and leaking will begin. For a guide on where your cup should sit, once you've tightened it up, the measurements should fall as close in line to the front of the gun and this line as possible. Then you will know your cup is nice and tight and there should be no leaking. This is the solution flow dial. It regulates the amount of solution coming out of the gun. For more solution, dial the dial up. You'll see there's a plus sign on the trigger. This means more solution. There is also a minus sign. If you dial down towards the minus sign, you get less solution. This is your hose. It's 3.5 meters long. It's this long so you can put your motor unit as far away from the tanning tent as possible. This will keep your motor unit in good condition and stop any overspray covering the motor unit. The hose attaches to the back of the gun here. You'll see on the end of the hose there's an arrow, and on the back of the gun there's another arrow. These need to be aligned to attach them together. Push firmly and twist. Then your hose is locked into place. If you do not push and twist firmly enough, your hose will blow off whilst you're spraying. It's very important it is firmly attached. You can gain 2 spray patterns from your gun. If you have the nozzle sitting horizontally, your spray pattern will be vertical. This will allow you to spray side to side. To change your spray pattern, just loosen the air cap ring and turn the nozzle vertically and tighten the air cap ring. Your spray pattern now will be horizontal. This will give you an up and down spray pattern. This is what I advise for spray tanning. This is your motor unit or motor turbine. This is the gun holder. Here is the retractable handle, which folds away nicely. And here is the on-off switch. Underneath is the cable management. The cable wraps around the base, and with this rubber plug, plugs into the hole underneath the base to stop the cable unwinding and causing an accident. This is where your hose goes, and if you turn the unit upside down, you have a little compartment here which contains your filter. You should wash this through on a regular basis, as it will keep your machine running perfectly. You get a spares filter in your spares kit. So now we've gone through all the parts of the machine, let's put it together, ready to spray. So again, take your gun and attach the hose to the back of the gun. Make sure it's firmly connected. This can then sit in the gun holder of the machine. Attach the other end of the hose to the turbine by pushing firmly in. You are now ready to go.